So today we're going to talk about W Gaming, and I know quite a few of you were pretty hyped to see this team get showcased because Talon were arguably the kind of darlings of the alpha bracket. They played a very fun style of Valorant, and they did so in a very fun way. And we have new members of the W Gaming crew because they were pretty crazy. But it wasn't just all crazy, and we'll see this in round number 3 here against DRX on Fracture, a map that Talon actually managed to win here. And you'll see it straight away from this round, right? Talon weren't just like blindly, oh, everything's aggressive. I mean, they were at points. But, there was this kind of thing where we've got a real plan in this round, and you're going to see this plan completely works, right? Our setup to begin with here is, we've got the alarm bot here, we've got the turret and the nano swarm. We're kind of just set up for a bit of a retake on A. But you're going to see that these two are just like, okay, we're going to just defend sense. We've got the alarm bot up here for dish. So if these guys come up here and plant the spike, that's absolutely fine. We're going to get aggressive down here and follow them back around. And you'll see that as we play this round, that's exactly what goes on to happen, where DRX, they're going to come in and come through A main, as you'll see just here. They send in the KO knife, so, these guys are probably a bit aware that they might be on their way, but we're just defending sense, okay? We're just happy to defend that area of the map whilst, our guys up here push down B main and start to come in there, start to clear this out. So in come DRX, they send in a Prowler, a Flash, they send in the smokes just there, right? They get halted by the Nano Swarm a bit, and RB managed to see these two players here on the flank. You see that they ping this out here, Talon, and he manages to kind of, just escape from them, and they're going to get the spike down, right? So the spike goes down just this second here. And this is where we can pause the map. And this is something that, like, I've kind of been a bit disappointed with some of the teams, because it feels like in some of the rounds, some of the teams have had, like, this is our plan, but then they just don't play to that plan, right? This is a good example of a team going, this is our plan, right? If you come down here and you want to plant the spike, that's fine, right? But we're going to follow you down here. We got the alarm bot up here. We're just going to control sands. And so if you plant the spike, that's fine, because you're going to have no space, right? You've got this. That's not a lot of space, right? We can pinch you in from a lot of different directions, and you are kind of screwed here, DRX. And that's exactly what happens. You're going to see RB ends up in a position where you're like, oh, why would you stand there? But it's because there's no space, like, someone has to go here, right? You see RB, he's worried about the flank, but he's also worried about the door because they don't have sands control. And, RB has just sent out his flash this way here as well. And I love this, again, the patience, right? Yes, they were a very aggressive team here, Talon, but they understood how to play as a team, right? I've kind of railed on Paper Rex for not playing as a team. But you see here, Sushi Boys, Jib Boy's got flashed, so he's going to wait until, okay, Jib Boys isn't flashed. Then we wait for, this stun to make sure there's no trade over there. Then we open the door, get a kill from Sushi Boys there. Really, really nice stuff. And so now they start to come in as a team. And you see we start to split off here. And we get 2 people coming from main. We get 3 people coming from Sands. And look at where these players are, right? You're just trapped in. There's just literally nowhere to go here whatsoever. For them, and ultimately what's going to happen here is, as you see, oh, we jump out, but Stax ends up next to another one there. We start to get the kills on the site, we get on the spike, and Stax ultimately will kill Gunner on the spike here. But this was just a really, really nice round from Talon, right? We had a plan, we stuck to it, we played as a team, and we got the win. Really, really good stuff. Now let's come to round number 11, and unlike the last round, we are still going to have a plan, but you see that this time it is a bit more W Gaming. We're just going to send a full rush northside pinch here, and you're going to see that DRX, I do like DRX because they do the right things quite often, and here you see you got RB and Zest realizing that they, are on their own, and they can hear, obviously, these footsteps, and so they do the right thing. And it still shocks me to this day. You still see a lot of teams not doing this, but they do the right thing where they take the rope. Now, there is still a bit of danger here, because against Neon in particular, right, once this sprint starts to come out, you can just about get caught, but they do manage to just get away there, and, they do the right thing. Now, Fox maybe not quite understanding just how far up DRX have gotten, tries to get back in onto the site. Unfortunately, he can't, but Sushi Boys does manage to get a kill back. So we end up in a 4v4, and the spike is going to go down. And this kind of round has been played a lot before, but I love what Talon do next, right? Because they're just going to wait out the suppression, as you might expect, and then they're going to come and place a Killjoy lockdown here as well. So they put down the Killjoy lockdown just there, which is going to push the DRX members, off the site just here. And so what you'll see is they start to come into the site, obviously, once the Killjoy lockdown is close to ending. But now I think what happens here is DRX, I think, are waiting for a tap on the spike, right? They've been pushed back to A main. There's a smoke here, so they're kind of like, oh yeah, they're just going to tap the spike, and then we're going to end up in this big spam battle to see, who can win this round and whatnot. But Talon they ain't interested in that, right? Even though we get a fade ult coming out here as well, they ain't interested in tapping the spike. They're just going to run at you as a team, right? They want the kills. They don't want the spike. They want the kills, right? And this was just what was so great about Talon is they just send it in. And so you see, like, we've got Mako here with, snake bites in hand and stuff. I don't think he realizes that there's not just one person here. There's 3 people in that smoke, right? Then they're just coming at DRX. You see that flash from Stacks as well is maybe a bit too late to save him. And Talon managed to get those kills. And I just loved this round because it was just like, yeah, forget the spike. Let's just go and run at them and get the kills. And it worked really well because I think DRX were just taken completely off guard. Now let's come to round number 18, where we're going to see a really good exec here from Talon, but I do think that DRX, and this is a problem I think they have on a lot of maps, but particularly for this map and the comp that they are playing a no Sentinel comp, okay, on Fracture. And so what you're going to see in this round is they're just going to get pinched in on the site, and this is a problem I've had with DRX, quite often potentially, is it looks okay here, right? But I'm going to tell you that Zest's position is no good here, right? Because basically in a no Sentinel comp like this, you have to, hold space pretty aggressively and be in areas, where you can be pretty aggressive. To be honest, Zest would be better off, much closer to these guys here, still looking maybe at Dish to see if someone's there, but close to these guys. So if someone does come in there, you can then as a team decide, do we want to go forward or do we want to go back, right? Often your choice will be forward. But instead you're going to see as Talon just come for this split push here, and this is something I think Talon realized as this game went on, is these split pushes, Zest ends up in a terrible position, right? Because now, look, his teammates are worried, right? RB comes and turns around, and that leaves Buzz on his own as well now. And so what you're going to see is they come in onto the site, and this is a really good exec here. The wall goes up, the stuns come out, we get a really nice slide. Look at this. I mean, what do you want Zest to do, right? We've got a shot there, shot there. I mean, there's no way he can, there's no way he's getting more than one, right? He's always getting traded. And so that's your site anchor down. And now that, we've come in onto the site here, now you've got Buzz and RB, they've turned around. And look at this, right? Like, you can't do this, right? You have to basically, when you're playing this kind of comp on, you've got no Sentinel, so you have no information of whether someone is there or not. You really probably have to stick together in this kind of square. And if they come behind you, you just have to push out, right? Or, just push out from the start. Because otherwise this happens, right? Where Buzz, now, I mean, what does he do, right? What do you do, right? And he just dies there to someone coming from behind. We end up with the spike planted just there. We end up in a 4v2. And yeah, DRX, they're just going to save here, but you can't really play like that. But again, it was really good from Talon. We saw a really nice exec, really nice timings. They understood where they needed to be. The positions were good. And the timings from the other two coming from a main as well was good, right? They're waiting for the main exec to come from Dish. This is another problem you'll see particularly in your ranked games is when you go for this split push. You want wherever the more numbers are, right? They're going to start it, and then you're going to come and be the secondary wave. If you're here and it's just like you on your own, or it's 2 people here, you don't want to go in first and even reveal yourself. You kind of just want to wait to see if they come and push out, wait for your teammates to come in first, and then you be that second wave and pick up the free kills. And then ultimately we would end at round 23, where Talon would manage to defeat DRX here on Fracture and pull off this pretty big upset. We're going to start off here with Fox at the top of the map, and you're going to see he's going to get KO knife just there from DRX, and he potentially notices a Fade Haunt here as well, and so he knows, oh, I could be in some trouble, right? And so again, he's going to do the right thing, just instantly come back to the rope and take the rope, right? This is how you get out. I see far too many players, I mean, it was really bad when it was the chamber meta, right? Far too many players, die up here, not taking the rope, as they just get pinched from both sides and then wonder, oh, wow, tough one. No, not a tough one. Take the rope. But the next thing they're going to do is they're just going to come and put the Killjoy lock down just here. They're going to come and clear, just underneath to make sure, trying to check if these guys maybe, are still lurking around in these areas or whatnot. Give it a quick check. But they're going to come and put the Killjoy lock down in there. And you'll see the response here from Mako, and I think, some people thought, oh, this is a weird Viper Spit, why would you do this? Well, I mean, it's last round, right? You might as well use your ults, and it does allow you to cross out here without being seen by Sushi and not put you in a bad spot. And then, you do still, gain some of this control. So it's not that bad of a Viper Spit, particularly in the last round. But we end up in this spot here where, they get the site, obviously, with the Killjoy lockdown. But now here we get our W Gaming coming in again, because he has Garnet, and he's just pushing into spawn. So you see he's past the smoke already, and, they aren't quite ready for it. In he goes. He manages to get the kill there on RB, just as we're Fade ulting in onto the site. He's managed to beat that, and yeah, we end up in a good spot for them. Now, Mako eventually drops this pit just here, but Sushi is not only going to get the first, he's also going to kill Mako as well, get the second, and really honestly win the round. And then Garnet, you know, he's getting like Fade haunted here and stuff. I mean, he just didn't care. There you go. You know, we're just going for it. He's feeling himself in this game, I think, a little. We win that gunfight there, and ultimately we end up in a 3v1, and Sushi is going to stab Buzz here in the back as he turns around, and Talon would manage to win this map. And honestly, they pushed the RX pretty far here, Talon, with their playstyle. I was pretty impressed overall, and this is kind of what I think, you know, this is what we wanted Paper Rex to be, right? They played as a team. It was aggressive, but, you know, for the most part, they played really well as a team, and they got rewarded for that. And they were hitting their fair share of shots as well. And yeah, this was overall a really good, I think, you know, opening gambit for Talon here in terms of this tournament. And I think, you know, they'll be pretty pleased with how they did overall. Ultimately, DRX would manage to win the next two maps, but they did, you know, force them to sweat there a bit, Talon. And yeah, we got a new member of the W Gaming fan club.